Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. If you're not uh, here yet, come on in the chat. Come on in, check us out. Come on in the chat and say hi. We got a nice little discussion we're going to have tonight, okay, about the wealth gap. Okay, what is the wealth gap and what are some of the things we can do to solve that, okay? At least from my perspective and my experience, I see quite a few things you can do to kind of curb the that whole wealth gap thing. Okay, why does it exist? Well, there's a lot of reasons why the wealth gap exists. Okay, but first of all, let's define what it is. All right, let's look at some definitions of the wealth gap. It says, um, what is a wealth gap? Okay, the wage gap is the difference in earnings from labor among different races and ethnicities. But the wealth gap describes the disparity of cumulative assets across races and ethnicities. Okay. This disparity results from differences in income and in the historical accumulation of assets across generations. That's a loaded definition. I mean, you could talk forever about what the wealth gap is, what caused it, especially in North America. Not just North America, South America, Central America, worldwide. There's a whole lot of different forces that came into play to produce this wealth gap. Okay. And if I don't stay focused, we can go off on a whole other tangent about what the wealth gap is and why it exists. Okay. Why there's certain people on the top and certain people on the bottom. But we're not going to get so deep into what the wealth gap is that we stray off of what I really want to get into is some of the ways we can solve it, okay, in our own communities. All right. And I think most of you know where I'm going with this, right? Based on what I talk about on the channel, based on what the channel is about. I promote trade skills. I promote tool skills, tool proficiency, and all that good stuff. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what I'm going to say about the solutions to the wealth gap. All right. So we define the wealth gap is the accumulation of assets, right? The accumulation of assets, how much you accumulated versus another group's accumulation of assets and all that. Now, you can't live in North America and not address race and ethnicity when it comes to the wealth gap. It's a pretty stark difference, okay? As much as you want to imagine that it's not there, it does exist, okay? It does exist. All you got to do is look around you. Certain parts of town, you got skyscrapers, penthouses, and then you go across the street and it's people living in tents, okay? People living on the street. That's a good definition, a good illustration of the wealth gap right there. What's going on? Why is it like that? Okay. Well, we know in this country there's been certain laws and policies to keep certain groups, from benefiting from the resources. Matter of fact, they were the resource, these groups, right? And that kept them at a certain level. And to this day, some of those laws and policies exist. But even if you're from those communities, you can do something to elevate yourself out of that situation and benefit from some of the resources that are available to you. You just gotta apply yourself and be diligent about what you want in life, and you got to focus, right? So nothing's impossible. Yeah, it may be harder for some, but nevertheless, it's not impossible. Okay. So let's look at another definition of the wealth gap here. Well, here's one. Come from Investopedia.com. It's talking about the racial wealth gap. The racial wealth gap refers to the difference in assets among different racial and ethnic groups, reflecting disparities in opportunities and resources, kind of like what we just talked about. Okay, disparities in opportunities and resources. Okay, yeah, opportunities, right? A lot of people think one of the biggest opportunities to elevate themselves is go get a college degree. How many of you believe that getting a college degree, and say, yes in the comments, or just say hi, how you doing? How many of you believe today in 2022 getting a college degree is a good way to close the wealth gap? Yes or no in the comments? Well, it can be, depending on what you go to school for, right? If you go to school for certain careers that require that, doctors, lawyers, maybe a chemical researcher or something like that, it's going to require some schooling, some formal education, and you have to go through what's set up to allow you to gain the credentials to be able to work in those fields. Okay. Yeah, we get it. But to go to college and not have a focus, just to go and say you got a degree, that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Okay. So let's talk about some of the other opportunities out there that you can take advantage of if you're not ready to, if you're not ready to spend all that money and find yourself in debt to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. Because you weren't focused and you were just following the crowd, and somebody said, oh yeah, just go to college, get a degree, and you'll be okay. Well, a lot of those people are living in those tents now down the street or whatever. And look, they're suffering. So, hey, I'm all about trade skills, picking up a skill that you can take anywhere in the world and profit from it, benefit from it, and fine tuning that skill so you can go out there in the marketplace and, ply your wares, sell your wares. Okay. Go out there in the marketplace, and with your skills, you don't necessarily have to get a job. Okay. You can create your own job, right? I'm all about creating your own job, and call it starting a business, call it what you want, and you'll be way better off. So we're going to talk about some of the trades that you can get into. Okay. Some of the trades that you can get into that are, and what they pay, and that do not necessarily require a college degree. Okay. So let's talk about those. And if you're doing one of those, if you're in one of those careers right now, hey, come in and say, yeah, I do that. Come in the comments and check it out. By the way, this live is brought to you by our flagship product, the exacttack.com, the best picture hanging tool out there. Okay. Go check it out. It's a great gift item, great holiday gift item. It makes picture hanging so easy. Okay. Check it out. It's right down there in the corner there. Exacttack.com. Okay. Check it out, guys. Power plant operator. Power plant operator. The average yearly salary for a power plant operator is $103,000. That's not so bad. Negative side to that is the job growth rate for that is in the negative right now. So I don't know if there's a lot of opportunities right now to get into that field. Okay. But it's definitely the top of the list, what I'm reading. Okay. And it only, it requires just a high school diploma or an equivalent, which would be a GED. Okay. A lot of on-the-job training. Okay. And then you need a license called a U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission license. Okay. It didn't say you got to go to 4 years of school for that. That's $103,000 a year. That's the average salary for that, a power plant operator. Okay. Let's see here. Responsible for maintaining electricity generating equipment, working rotating shifts, sometimes during the nights, weekends, and holidays. Power plant operators are essential to the nation's energy chain. Okay. Guys, this is not a small career here. This is a really well-paying career. And that's the average salary. You probably can go higher than that. All right. Power plant operator. Number 2 on the list, elevator mechanic. How much do you think an elevator mechanic makes, guys? What's the average salary for an elevator mechanic? What do you think? Well, according to what I'm reading here, it's about $99,000 a year. Okay. You ever step in an elevator? At least lately, it's funny because I've been stepping in elevators lately and I've been wondering, if this thing breaks down, what's going to happen? I think it's a normal fear to have. They do happen, right? Elevators break down. It's a piece of mechanical equipment. Of course, it's going to break down. Need somebody to fix it, right? Well, you can get paid $99,000 a year to fix those things, and you don't need a college degree. Now, it is saying that you need a 4-year apprenticeship program. You need to attend a 4-year apprenticeship program. But I doubt that it's as expensive as a 4-year degree to become a basket weaver or something or anything like that. And that you do need a state license for that. Okay. So elevator mechanic, guys, average salary for that is $99,000 a year. That's not too bad. That's not too shabby, is it? All right. Number 3, what do you think number 3 is? I used to do this a while back when I used to live in Florida. An electric lineman. You guys, those guys that climb the poles and fix the power lines and all that. I did that briefly for a while. It was kind of fun. Getting to climb the poles and all that stuff. What do you think those guys make? The average salary for those guys? $85,000, $85,000 a year. Hey, well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Hey, now, of course, it's very dangerous. It's very risky. You can't be afraid of heights if you're going to do that kind of work. You got different weather conditions that you gotta contend with. But guess what? High school diploma or equivalent. Okay. You do need to have go through an apprenticeship program. I think it's 3 years, and of course, on-the-job training. Okay. So I'm just giving you some options here. Some options in case you're wavering on well, should I go to college? Should I, or maybe you went to college and it didn't work out for you, or you spent all that money, or you're in debt. Think about picking up a trade, man. You pay that debt off in no time, right? I remember I was in debt. I was in debt for a while. Okay. I was in debt. And hey, Cha-Cha Girl, how you doing? Greetings. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see you. Cha-Cha Girl, we're talking about high-paying trade jobs, okay? A lot of people go to college, and they end up in debt to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're still in debt. I know people that have careers, grown people, right? And they're still paying off their student loans. So what I'm talking about are jobs that don't necessarily require a college degree. Okay, they don't necessarily require a college degree. They may require some on-the-job training, and some do require some licenses and apprenticeship programs that you may have to go through. But trust me, they're not. Yes, they do. Absolutely, Cha-Cha Girl. They need those trade classes back in school right away. Now, some parts of the community, they do have them, right? Just recently, I was teaching at welding, instructing at a location, and it was a continuation school, and they had. Thank you, sir. Thank you. The waffle too. Glad to see you here. Thanks for being here. Okay. So the continuation school I was instructing at, this wasn't a regular high school. This was a school for kids that were actually having problems in school. So they sent them to an alternative school, continuation school. But that school I was instructing at had a shop class in it, and I was amazed to see it. I mean, they had all these tools. They had these mock-ups for electricity, for plumbing, for carpentry, and all that stuff. And I was really glad to see that. Cha-Cha Girl, my daddy said people will always get sick, die, go to jail, and need that car fixed. Those folks will always have jobs. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're so right about that. You're so right about that, Cha-Cha Girl. So yeah, so the trades could be a way out for you. It can be a way out if you're watching this and you're wondering, hey, what should I do? What direction should I go in? And it's not an age thing, okay? I teach welding to all ages. I mean, all ages. The youngest person that I instructed in welding was 13 years. She was a 13-year-old girl, okay? And the oldest was an 87-year-old man. So yeah, it's never too late to learn. Never too late to learn. So yeah, we're just talking about some careers that that they pay a lot. Some of these trades pay a lot, okay? And so I'm just going down a list of some of them, talking about what's out there for you. So number 3 was electric linemen. Those are the guys that climb the poles and they fix the power lines, okay? Very dangerous job, but it pays well. Say average salary for that is $85,000 a year, okay? High school diploma or equivalent is needed, and some an apprenticeship program, maybe 3 years or so. But when I got into it, I didn't go through an apprenticeship program. This was back in the 90s, okay? So I did that for a little bit, and on the job training, okay? So that's like I said, that's what I did, on the job training. Okay, construction manager, okay? If you have leadership and communication skills, okay, and you can supervise construction projects, okay, then maybe you want to think about doing that. Construction manager. Anybody want to guess how much those guys pull in average salary per year? Well, it's number 4 on the list, so it's lower than the rest, but it's not that low. Now, for this one, it's recommended you have a bachelor's degree. I don't particularly know why, but it's recommended that you have a bachelor's degree and 1 year on the job training and a state license, okay? But that career pulls in about 73 grand a year, $73,000 a year, okay? And you're pretty much, dealing with a lot of contractors, supervising the whole project, multiple projects at one time. So you're kind of like a project manager, but for construction, okay? So that's not too bad, guys. That's not too bad. If you have an inclination and you like construction, you may want to move up. You may not just want to be the guy who hammers the nails. If you have a bigger vision, you may want to think about doing that. You can get your general contractor's license, work your way up. You never know where you can be if you apply yourself. That's the whole point here. Okay. All right. Next on the list, nuclear medicine technician. Nuclear medicine. You guys ever heard of that? Let's see here. Nuclear medicine technicians work in hospitals, medical labs, and care centers to prepare radiopharmaceuticals drugs and administer them to patients for imaging treatment. Okay. They support patients by explaining procedures and operating imaging equipment. Hey, that sound interesting to you? Guess what? High school diploma or equivalent is required. And it's recommended you have a bachelor's or associate's degree. Okay. But that one brings in about 70 grand a year, $69,000 a year. That's not bad. That's not bad, especially if you like people, you like the medical industry, you're into health and all that. There's so many ways to go in medicine. Cha-Cha Girl, my dad did take up different trades by the time I was born. He was a district manager for Mattel. Wow. He was a district manager for Mattel Toy Company. We had all the toys, no degree. Exactly, Cha-Cha Girl. I mean, you got to give it to people like that, right? That worked their way up. They didn't necessarily go through the formal channels, going to school and all that. But they, because of their, tenacity and their grit, you got to have a grit out here, man. You can't just be giving up. They can elevate themselves, right? You can elevate yourself to high positions without these formal pieces of paper, okay? If you know what you're doing. All right. So, yeah, nuclear medicine technician. That's number 5 on the list. All right. Number 6, aircraft technician, or probably aircraft mechanic, I'm assuming. Everybody heard of those, right? Those guys. If you're into planes, if you like flying, you're just a plane junkie, and you have the mechanical aptitude, and you like fixing things. Hey, put the two together, and go ahead and check out being an aircraft mechanic or aircraft technician. Okay, what are the requirements for those guys? Let's see here. Recommended associate's degree, Part 147, FAA approved aviation maintenance technician school. So you got to go to school for that. Okay, but it's aviation maintenance technician school. Airframe mechanics and/or power plant mechanic certification. Okay, so you guys got to really love planes, man. You got to really, I wouldn't say you got to really love it, but if you like fixing things, you like, mechanical things, that's a good field to be in. Its average salary is about $68,000. Okay. And that's the average. Okay. So you could probably work your way up there. All right. What's number 7 on the list that does not necessarily require a college degree, but this next one it's recommended that you have some college or some vocational training. Okay, and it's a radiation therapist. Radiation therapist. What do radiation therapists do? They treat cancer. Okay, they treat cancer, and they administer radiation therapy. So I guess like you're talking about chemotherapy and all that stuff. Yeah, once again, medicine, guys. That's a field to get in. That it's a lot of trades. When you talk about trades, there's a lot of different trades in the medical field, and this is one of them. A radiation therapist, administer radiation therapy. Let's see what else they do. Explain procedures, operating treatment machines, keeping records, monitoring patients. They usually work in hospitals, outpatient care centers, and physician offices. So if you're inclined to, like nurses, right? They like people. They like helping people. It's just something about a nurse. When somebody says they're a nurse, a lot of times they just like the medical field. They like helping people, right? It's just in them, right? So being a radiation therapist is one of those things you can do in the medical field that does not necessarily require college. Now, it's recommended in that case, but it's not required, okay? And it's about $68,000 a year, average salary, and you can work your way up with that as well. Remember, I'm talking about average salaries, okay? Not the top salary, okay? You guys ever heard? You guys know what a millwright is? Millwright. What is a millwright, guys? Millwrights are what are called industrial mechanics. Okay, they're responsible for repairing, maintaining, assembling, and moving machinery in construction sites, factories, and power plants. There are other tasks that include replacing defective parts, disassembling machines, and cleaning and lubricating equipment. Okay, Cha-Cha Girl. She says I'm a legal vampire, but I don't work as one. Phlebotomist. Cha-Cha Girl, that's interesting. Now, what exactly does a phlebotomist do? I know it has to do with blood. Do you draw blood? I've heard the term. She says she's a legal vampire. Wow. That's deep. That's heavy. Phlebotomist. Hey, phlebotomist. You can do that too. That's in the medical field. You're dealing with patients, you're dealing with healthcare. Oh, we come in and draw blood. Gotcha. You go to people's homes and do that, right? I'm assuming. Or maybe at a hospital or a patient care facility or wherever you need to be. Cha-Cha Girl's not scared of blood. Some people on the sight of blood, they faint. They don't, they can't stand the sight of blood. Cha-Cha Girl. Oh, hospital. Gotcha. Cha-Cha Girl, she doesn't care. Blood doesn't bother her, and she'll go in there and draw that blood like it ain't nothing. Like it ain't nothing. All right. Hey, girl. Okay. Millwright. Back to number 8. A millwright, also known as industrial mechanic. So if you have any mechanical aptitude, you like being on construction sites, you like being around big machinery, you like being in shops, metal shops, machine shops, welding shops. Like I work at a welding shop / machine shop all the time. Okay, I'm there all the time, fixing on stuff, instructing, and sometimes building things and fixing things. Okay, so I'm kind of in that world myself. Average salary for that is $65,000. So if you have that aptitude, go for it. Hey guys, remember, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you follow your passion, but you got to like what you do, right? You got to kind of like what you do. Sometimes it's not all about the money. Everybody's not trying to be a millionaire, but they just want to be in something where time doesn't drag along, that they actually enjoy what they're doing. So if you have the aptitude to fix on things or help people, talk to people, counsel people, whatever it is, where time doesn't, time stops because you enjoy what you're doing. Hey, do that, man. Don't listen to the world saying you gotta do this and you'll be a millionaire and all that. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, but it's not for everybody, right? Sometimes people are just happy on doing what they do at work. So don't follow the crowd. Seek your own peace, seek your own happiness, and that's the most important thing. Okay, as long as you're serving people, and then serving others, that's what's important. All right, ultrasound technologist. All right, everybody know what an ultrasound is. I never had one, but ultrasound. Yeah, I mean, when people get pregnant, they have babies, they look at the pictures. That's what ultrasound is. You can be an ultrasound tech. The other name for them is diagnostic medical sonographers. Okay, that's the big word for them. Okay, they operate imaging equipment to conduct tests and help diagnose medical conditions. They can specialize in imaging the cardiovascular system, reproductive health. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was actually telling me, I don't want to get too personal here, but she was actually telling me, yeah, that is a fancy name, Cha-Cha Grill, for that. All right, you got all these big names. You're just ultrasound tech, okay? But she was telling me that they actually do ultrasounds. The gynecologists actually do ultrasounds on women to check out the insides. So that was pretty interesting to know that it's not just for outsides. The baby, they actually go inside and look around in there to see if everything's okay. So they specialize in imaging, the reproductive health, pediatric care, and they analyze the information once they get it out. Okay, so yeah, that's another thing in the medical field that you can get into. An associate's degree is, I think, required for that. Some kind of post-secondary certificate to be an ultrasound tech. But they pull in around 62 grand a year. Okay, average salary now. Not talking about top salaries. Average salaries, they pull that in. All right. Next on the list, boiler maker. Boiler maker. What is a boiler maker, guys? Is that something you want to do, Cha-Cha Girl? You ever thought about being a boiler maker? Boiler makers maintain, repair, and assemble boilers. Large containers, okay, for buildings, factories, and ships. All right, I know it has something to do with heating, right? Get that hot water. You need that hot water, right? You need to take those hot showers, right? Yeah, I'm a hot shower person. This labor-intensive job requires physical stamina and attention to safety precautions, and often outside in all weather conditions. Boiler makers are also tasked with testing boilers for leaks, replacing damaged parts, reading blueprints, and cleaning vats. So it's not a clean job, guys. You're gonna be out. You're gonna be probably lugging around some heavy equipment, and probably a kind of a dirty job. Okay, about $60,000 a year. No college required. Just need a high school diploma. You may have to go through an apprenticeship program, and you need to be licensed for that. Okay. Cha-Cha Girl said, "No, thank you." Hey, I saw a video. And some of you guys probably seen this if you watch a lot of social media and stuff. Did you guys ever see that guy in the manhole, and he was fixing something or cleaning a manhole, and they just showed the top of his head, and he had all these roaches and stuff crawling around on him? You guys, anybody seen that? The clip of that? That was crazy. I don't know what kind of work he was doing, but I'm with you on that, Cha-Cha Girl. I said no thank you to that too. All right. I'm talking about the trades and all that stuff, but I'm not saying to get into something that you're not, that you're not trying to do at all, man. They got some crazy trades out there. All right. Pipe fitter, guys, pipe fitter, responsible for piping systems in construction, commercial, and residential area, from the blueprints to installation. Yeah, you throw up. Yeah, exactly. I wish I had that clip I could show you guys, man. That was crazy. And he was down there like it was nothing. He was in the manhole, and you can see the back of his head. Okay, and he was down there. He had some spray he was cleaning in or something, cleaning the walls of the manhole, and he had these roaches and stuff crawling all over his back, actual roaches. Okay, and he was just like going like this, like it ain't nothing. Oh, yeah. I was like, okay, do your thing, bro. Do your thing. Yeah. All right, pipe fitters, guys. Pipe fitters, piping systems, commercial and residential. They install and maintain low and high pressure piping systems. They also thread, cut, and troubleshoot malfunctioning pipes. Okay, so probably you're doing a lot of underground work, probably having to dig up the pipes to make to find the leaks and all that stuff. So it's not it's somewhat dirty work, right? But 60 grand a year, 60 grand a year, guys. All right, 60 grand a year for pipe fitters. How about this? Real estate appraiser. Hey, finally signed in on. Hey, Perry Girl Life Notes. How you doing? Good to see you. Perry Girl Life Notes in the house. We're talking about the wealth gap. I kind of talked about earlier in the live what the wealth gap is and some of the things that we can do to solve it. I didn't go too deep into it, but right now I'm kind of giving a list of some of the trade jobs out there that are high paying, and kind of going down the list from number 1, and we're on number 13 right now. Okay, actually number 12, and that's the real estate appraiser. Okay, it's no college degree. Well, it's a bachelor's degree recommended. I don't know why, but real estate appraisers are responsible for providing estimated value of real estate, such as building, land, and personal property. This is a job for people with great attention to detail and interpersonal skills, since they assist people who own or manage properties. Some of their tasks include preparing financial estimates of properties, evaluating issues that affect their value, inspecting properties, and preparing reports. Okay, so you're pretty much in the real estate business as an appraiser. Their average salary is 58 grand a year. Okay, and on-the-job training is pretty much what you need there. Okay, if you don't have any formal schooling, on-the-job training will get you there. You looked into being an appraiser, Cha-Cha Girl? What made you change your mind on that? What made you change your mind on that? Perry Girl Life Note says accounting jobs. Yep, accounting jobs. They're out there. And you can, matter of fact, my father was an accountant. And, on the job training, you just learn the skills, study, get some certificates, get some licenses. You can be a CPA. You can be a licensed tax preparer. You can do all that stuff as well. Says she's still thinking about it. Huh. Okay. Side hustle. Ain't nothing wrong with those side hustles. I hear you. Them side hustles pay the bills sometimes when, not sometimes, but when you need them, All right. Number 13, construction inspector. All right. Here's another construction trade, a gig that does not necessarily require a college degree, just a high school diploma or equivalent. They spend most of their time on construction sites, building structures, plumbing, and electrical. Okay. Inspecting. I'm sorry. They inspect all of that. They inspect the electrical, the plumbing, the structure, all that stuff. They inspect. They review the plans. They monitor construction sites. They verify alignment, leveling, and elevation, as well as issue violation notices and stop work orders. Okay, so they do all of that. On-the-job training. That's another on-the-job training career. And you don't need a high school diploma. 57 grand a year. Might as well say 60, right? Average salary. L. Harris, how you doing? L. Harris said he likes the pipe fitting job. What do you like about the pipe fitting job, sir? Go ahead and tell us what you like, L. Harris. Good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping by. All right. Okay, so number 14, guys. Number 14 on the list. electronics technician. If you're good in math, and you like electronics, this may be something for you, okay? I'll go right off the bat. It's about 57 grand a year, average salary. Once again, I reiterate, average salary is average salary. It's not the top salary. So, you can work your way up, and who knows what you can get after that, okay? I don't know if there's a ceiling on these things, okay, depending on if you work for a company. But like I tell my welding students, hey, we're going to try to hook you up with a job after you get your welding certification, after you get certified with the American Welding Society. We can try to hook you up with a job, but you got to think bigger than a job, okay? These skills that you gain when you go to these schools or you get some on-the-job training, hey, don't be scared to think about branching out on your own and starting your own thing, all right? Starting your own business or whatever, getting a few accounts. Sometimes all it takes is to get an account or two, right? Go out there, put your feelers out, and you may land an account that's maybe not that big, but it'll get you started, right? And then you just work your way up. If you're pretty good and disciplined and you do the work, word of mouth is something, right? Word of mouth can travel. Okay. Next thing you know, you got a business. You got people calling you. Okay. So I'm reading these trade jobs, but also I want to let you guys know, don't just think job. Think bigger than a job. All right. Like I said, electronics technician, you got to be, you got to have some math aptitude. Electronics technicians modify, test, and repair electronic components, products, and equipment. They work together with electrical engineers to troubleshoot and replace equipment components, upgrade software systems, and diagnose defects. Okay. So that's about, you would think that they would make, since you're dealing with software systems and doing all that stuff, but they pull in about 57 grand a year average salary. Now, what's the date of this article here? This article is, I think, in this year, May of this year. I think this article was written. So it's pretty accurate right now, I would say. All right. So if you're into electronics, you like taking things apart, you like circuitry, you like circuit boards, computers and all that, hey, that may be something you want to check out. Okay, electronics technician there. All right, so what we got on this? The next one here, 15. Electrician. Hey, electrician. Average salary, $56,000 a year. By the way, guys, go and hit that like button. Help the channel out. I really appreciate it. It's free. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. L. Harris says, sounds like a line of work I can get into. I got you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, buddy. Go ahead and do some more research on the pipe fitting job, L. Harris. All right. Respiratory therapist. All right, guys. Here's another career in the medical industry. 56 grand a year starting out. People have difficulty breathing. People with sleep apnea, and all that stuff. Or they may have had a chronic illness and they can't breathe. Especially with what's going on with the big C out there. A lot of people are having long-term effects from that. What's going around today, and even if they get over it, they have long-term effects, and a lot of it has to do with their breathing and stuff. So respiratory therapists, they pull in around 56 grand a year. Chronic respiratory diseases, they deal with breathing issues, asthma, emphysema. They even treat premature infants, all the way up to elderly people. Okay. People that suffer trauma, heart attacks, all that stuff. Cha-Cha Girl, I want to do that too as a side hustle. I looked at classes in the fall, but part-time. You're talking about respiratory therapists, Cha-Cha? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, they pull in about 56 grand a year. It says it requires an associate's degree, vocational school, and state license. So when they say associate's degree, vocational school, I don't know if they necessarily mean both of those or either or. I'm not sure. But it does say associate's degree, vocational school, and a state license, okay? 56 grand a year. Dental hygienist. All right, so maybe you've been traumatized as a kid and you had a bunch of cavities and you had to get your tooth pulled, and it was like a traumatizing experience for you, you may want to help deal with some of that trauma by becoming a dental hygienist. All right, those they work under the supervision of a dentist. Okay, their associate's degree or technical school required, CPR certification required. They pull in about $54,000 a year. Okay, so if you're into oral health and all that good stuff, maybe that's something you want to think about. Okay, landscape designer. Hey, all artists, they don't paint on canvases. Okay, I think everybody's an artist to an extent, and whatever your career you're in, right? Like a landscape person, landscape designer, they're artists, man. I see them out there, but they work with, they work with actual earth. That's their paintbrush. Okay, they pull in around 50 grand a year. Okay, a landscape designer. Well, actually, okay, it says a landscape designer is for those who love outdoors and being creative. They develop landscaping plans for parks, outdoor spaces, and features such as water fountains, walkways, ponds, gardens. I did one of my earlier videos. Cha Cha Grill says people's mouths are awful. Man, yeah. So I don't know. You might want to stay away from that. Yeah, certain parts of the medical field, I like, man, you got to be a certain kind of person to. It's like a mortician. What kind of person wants to deal with dead bodies all the time, right? And examine them. People that do autopsies and all that stuff. 85 to 135K. Perry Girl Life Notes. What career is that, Perry Girl Life Notes? 85K to 135K. Talking about a mortician? Or coroners or something like that, people that do autopsies? They train you. Okay. Yeah. Probably not a high school diploma. College degree required for that either, right? But 85K to 135K, guys, they got a lot of careers out there that don't require college degrees. That'll pay that. That will supersede some of the incomes of these so-called high-paying degrees. You know what I mean? You just got to do the research. Everybody doesn't like school. I got nothing against school, but explore the other opportunities is all I'm saying. Yeah. So landscape designer, okay, they pull around 50 grand a year average. They consult with clients, do budgets and all that good stuff. And they're more in depth, I guess, than the average landscaper that you see out there, because they're evaluating things that the average gardener doesn't do, right? Evaluating drainage, vegetation, soil, design ideas. So that one, a bachelor's degree is required. It could be part of the requirement, on the job training, and a state license. Okay. Landscape design. Like I said, I did a video, I forget which one it was, but on a architectural designer, one of my earlier videos. It was interesting talking to him. It sounds pretty similar to that, what I'm talking about now, landscape designer. So go check that out. It's on the channel. HVAC technician. Yeah, guys, HVAC technician. All right, these guys, they deal with air conditioning systems. Matter of fact, on YouTube, they got a lot of guys doing a lot of HVAC videos. Very interesting how air conditioning and refrigeration works. That's a whole different science in itself. But what they start off at, 45 grand a year. Well, once again, guys, these are jobs. These are salaries. Okay, this is not if you start your own business and get all the money. You know what I mean? Once again, I always push, yeah, get the job or whatever for the training. But if you're the type of person that's not just comfortable with the job, use the job to learn and then branch off on your own, start your own company, start your own business. You should have enough knowledge after a while to be able to go out there and start your own thing. Okay. I'm not saying burn bridges, but hey, how do you think they started? The people that you work for, right? So yeah, air conditioning systems, refrigeration, ventilation, they repair all that stuff. from large industrial units to residential smaller units. They change filters, install heat pumps, performing maintenance and upgrading equipment. All that with the HVAC technician. Okay. Let's see here. U.S. It says a U.S. Environmental Protection Agency or EPA certification is needed for that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Next one down. You would think this one would pay more than some of the ones I mentioned, right? An IT support specialist. You know, I have a brother that's in IT, and that's what he does. He's a network engineer. So IT, if you have a passion for technology, problem solving, you may want to be a IT support specialist. Okay. And they work in a whole bunch of different fields. All right. Most companies, most businesses require a back end when it comes to computers, when it comes to IT. So you can it's pretty versatile in that way, right? Because it's just computers. Everybody needs a infrastructure for their business, and they need an IT person to come in there and hook things up. You know what I mean? So they pulling around average salary $42,000 a year, and no high school needed, vocational school, and maybe some certification you probably going to need for that. All right. So IT specialist. Okay. Information technology. All right. All right. What else you got here? Let's see here. Got a couple more, guys. Cable technician. All right. These are guys that come in and, install your cable. All right. $39,000 a year average salary, no high school, no college required, technical school, possibly high school diploma or equivalent, on the job training and some certifications. All right. So those guys that come in and install your cable, if you're technically inclined and all that, I can pay well. And I'm pretty sure when you move up in the ranks, you're not just coming out installing stuff. You can actually make more money in a higher position, a managerial position or something like that. Okay. Last on the list there. Let's talk about this. I did this for a while. It was pretty interesting. Solar energy system installer. Yeah, I used to go out there and install solar panels on roofs and stuff like that. And it was pretty interesting how the technology works. Now, renewable energy it's so much to get from that, right? But when you're battling entrenched systems like the oil industry and all that, fossil fuels and stuff like that, then you're kind of you're fighting that. Yeah. L. Harris said I could do that too. yeah, solar panel installer. Yeah, it was nice. I was interested in the technology and how it worked because you got the sunlight, you got this big, I think it's a fusion reactor, which is called the sun. Okay. And sitting out there in outer space, and you're harnessing that light to produce electricity. You're harnessing that. So the sun itself is just a ball of electricity. That's what it is. That's what the sun is. So you're harnessing the energy from that ball of electricity in the sky, and you're turning it into manageable power and energy that you can use in your homes. Lane cable. Okay, gotcha. All right, L. Harris. Well, I tell you. Anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could do that too, L. Harris. Yeah, so I did the solar thing for a while, and it was pretty interesting. So what happens is I'm probably going to do a video on it to show you guys how it works. Is you have these cells called photovoltaic cells. And when the light from the sun hits it, it produces an electric charge. And if you have enough of those cells stacked together, it produces enough energy to take that electrical charge and actually turn it into electricity. Harnessed up, directed out from the panel into your electrical systems in your house or whatever, even cars. Remember those calculators with the solar panels on them? The calculators back in the day? I think they probably still have them. Same thing, same deal, okay? Except now you put them on the roofs. They even have solar systems that are incorporated into the walls of your home, the actual building, right? So all kinds of ways, man. They're doing all kinds of things with solar and renewable energy. All right. So guys, I just wanted to give you that quick list rundown that, when we talk about the wealth gap, especially the racial wealth gap, and you don't have all this money to go to college or whatever, or maybe you're in college and you don't know what direction you want to take it, and you kind of lost. Instead of racking up all that debt, think about some of these careers I just talked about. Look into them, even maybe just to do them on the side, or maybe get certified in one. Like I said, I tell people, hey, you can get your CDL as a truck driver and make 6 figures, even as a driver. If you have a good work ethic, you can make 6 figures as a driver. You don't even have to be an owner operator. Take on that responsibility. Of course, you can do that and build up a fleet of trucks and all that. But even as a driver, you can make some decent money. You can make 6 figures. I've done it. And just so if you just want to have those certifications and keep them active, go renew them. And even if you're not using them, you still have them there as an option, right? You won't be out there twiddling your thumbs when you lose that job, or, you got to pay all this debt back and you don't have another skill to help you pay it back. L. Harris says he has a Class A. Hey, that's great. Glad that was a good move you made. Okay. That was a good move you made on that, L. Harris. Yeah. So, look into other opportunities, other ways of building wealth that doesn't require a lot of, getting into debt. All right. Like I said, I'm not knocking college, but I just understand that that's not the only option you have. So, hey guys, I appreciate you coming on in. At least everybody, Cha Girl, Perry Girl, Life Notes, L. Harris. I think I saw where is he? Let me go down. Or the Waffle 2 or something like that. The Waffle 2. Thanks. I appreciate you guys coming in here and sharing this time. And hit the like button. Come on back next time, Tuesday at 7 o'clock. All right, guys. Love you guys. And you stay safe out there. All right. And I'll see you next time.